Hey YouTube, Common Collector here, and today we are going to be doing just sort of a small video, a meta-analysis as well as Banlist breakdown. Now the Banlist hit on the internet last night at about like 6 or 7 o'clock, I believe, so it was sort of a late night for a lot of people posting videos and whatnot. I had to work early this morning, so I didn't really want to get into all that. I figured it would be just okay to not do a live reaction, but just sort of do an analysis after I've sort of processed everything. So that's what we'll be doing today, as well as just sort of a general discussion on the meta and where just sort of where the world of Yu-Gi-Oh lands with the whole COVID-19 sort of scare and all that stuff. So a lot to get into. So first of all, what I want to say on that is I think that we're seeing sort of some interesting things happen in the card markets. Not too many dips or dives in prices yet, but with the new ban list that we're going to be going over, we did see some hits on spirals, which hopefully is going to drag down the price of Magician's Souls a little bit. If people aren't planning on playing spirals anymore, maybe us big time Dark Magician fans are going to be able to finally get our hands on Magician's Souls at a bit of a budget price. I know it's probably still going to be expensive, but in reality, we shouldn't be paying $100 per copy of Magician's Souls. So hopefully we'll be seeing a change in price of that. Along with that, one sort of thing that I've been dealing with myself is that I've really been wanting to get my hands on Pot of Extravagance. Extravagance would be just a really good card for a handful of my decks. I've been working on an Exodia build, and we did not see Mystic Mine get hit by the ban list either. So Pot of Extravagance in a Mystic Mine Exodia build would be really, really helpful, as well as at regionals. A few months ago, I was really hoping to use my Evil Eye deck with Extravagance, but I didn't get the chance to get my hands on a play set of it. So sort of we're in this weird area where people who want to get their hands on Extravagance, they really can't. I mean, they can right now. However, there's a chance that the price could drop soon. With the card market the way it is, there's no people going to locals or regionals. So maybe people are going to try to start selling their copies of the card. And then again, we have another printing of the card coming in about mid-January, or no, not January, sorry, mid-June, I believe. So in the Chaos Toon set, or Toon Chaos, whatever they're calling it, where we're going to be getting new Toon support. And that's another deck that could probably use Extravagance as well. So I think that the whole card market is a real question mark. Let me know in the comments what you guys are experiencing, if there's people who you're seeing that are selling out or just selling cards more frequently at budget prices, stuff like that. So just let me know in the comments what you guys are seeing. But anyways, without further ado, let's get on into the ban list. So I'm going to be scrolling along at home. I'll put up a picture here, but starting off, we have Blackwing Steam the Cloak, as well as Destrudo and Glow Up Bulb. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these, but these are just really big extenders for your plays. I don't really think that this is surprising. Destrudo was a bit of a surprise. I didn't think that people saw that really coming, especially Dragon Link players. But it was probably a decent hit just because it can recycle itself and whatnot. So maybe it recycles itself back into the deck. So maybe that was a good call, especially with the Blackwing Steam the Cloak. People were figuring out a lot of different loops and stuff that you could figure out in order to get some really, really crazy plays going. So probably a good thing. I don't think that really surprised anybody. And then going on to Glow Up Bulb, that's been limited for a very long time, but probably a good thing that went forbidden, just because there's just so many degenerate plays that you can do with like just keeping your synchro plays going. Maybe it could have stayed at one. I guess it's not overly degenerate, but Glow Up Bulb getting forbidden, probably not the worst thing. And then going on into Lunalight Tiger. This is probably my most biggest disappointment, is just the way that people have been abusing the Lunalight engine. And I guess I shouldn't be surprised. but because at the last regionals that I was at, there was a guy who was playing like Lunalite, Time Thief, Link spam, Link and XZ spam. So that was and that was a pretty crazy deck. Also, people have been utilizing it with Orcus. I played against a Lunalite Orcus a while ago at locals, and so I think people have been seeing that this is something that you can really abuse. And I had spent last night trying to see if I could put Lunalites and Nordics together. It didn't work, but after about 2 hours of working on that, and I figured the plan was scrapped. And then right after I said no, this probably isn't going to work, then I got the notification that the ban list was up, and then I saw that Tiger had gotten hit. So that was about 2 to 3 hours of time totally wasted. But Lunalite Tiger, probably a good hit that it needed to get gone because it was just too generic of a card that you didn't have to specifically play it in a Lunalite build. Moving on then into the next thing that we saw was Spiral Master Plan going down. Now, Master Plan obviously is pretty crucial to the overall deck. It's sort of like the master planner of how the deck works. I don't think that people are too surprised to see that Spirals did get a hit, but hopefully it'll come back. It is a cool deck. I've always kind of wanted to get into it. I like the whole spy aspect of it. Everyone should know that I do like a good themed deck at this point. Scrolling on then, the rest of that's all for the forbidden hits, I believe. So that's actually not too bad. I was actually pretty surprised by how small the hits were. I thought that this was going to be a really big list where we're seeing like boom, 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 this stuff gets hit. I was surprised that Formula Synchron wasn't on this, but there was a few others that we'll get into. But anyways, then our next hit on the semi-limited list are the Dangers. Again, not too surprising, but maybe not overly necessary. I think that from what you can gather from this list is they're really just trying to take down the extenders, because there are just so many different ways. If you play, like in an Orcus deck, if you play a full Danger engine along with like the Lunalites and whatnot, it just makes the deck flow so easily that they're probably trying to just tone down stuff like Orcus, Time Thief, and all of these other things that can really abuse these strategies and make big Link and XZ plays. Going on from there, we have ABC Dragon Buster, which probably surprised a lot of people. Along with ABC and Totally Awesome, people were all really thinking maybe these are things that we could see how the deck flourishes in the Master Rule 5 format, but Konami just sort of said, no, we don't want to see what happens, so they just limited all of these to one, instead of letting us see how they evolve and see if they do get abusive. But so unfortunately they did that. So Totally Awesome and the ABC, those were sort of some debatable hits. Then going on, we have TG Hyper Librarian. I'm a little bit disappointed in this. It really does affect my Morphtronic deck. However, it is probably a wise hit that they did this, because there's just so many plays that you can do where you go into TG Hyper Librarian and then another, and then you go into Formula Synchron and you draw 3 cards. That's just so powerful and so easy to be abused. It's not a hard once per turn or anything, so probably is a good hit that they did this. As well as going on into Trishula, there are some loops that you can do with Trishula, so probably another decent hit there. Then we do have Zodiac Trident. Was previously forbidden, now sitting at 1. Then probably my next favorite hit that they did was the Instant Fusion, which I was actually just having a conversation with Tyler the other day on Super Poly and Instant Fusion, which are both really beefed up now with the new Link monster, Predaplant Verta Anaconda. So basically what Anaconda does is it has sort of a confusing effect the first time you read it, but what it does is that you pay 2,000 life points in order to send a fusion or a polymerization card to the graveyard, and then it gets the effect of that card when that card is activated. So you're not paying the cost, and there's none of like the other conditions, like how Super Poly gets the effect that it can't be chained to and whatnot. You don't get any of those effects. You just get the effect of that card when it's activated. So the other effect of Anaconda is that it turns one of your opponent's monsters into a dark. So with that on the field, you can automatically always super poly into a Starving Venom or a Mud Dragon. So I thought that super poly was possibly going to get hit here, but I'm glad that they at least hit the instant fusion. And again, this is just sort of going along with how they're hitting these extenders, trying to take them down a little bit, because now with this Anaconda, as long as you have two monsters to link into the Anaconda, you basically have an automatic instant fusion or super poly, which is sort of like how Nightmare Phoenix is like an automatic blow up of a spell card. This is basically an automatic instant fusion. So probably good that they did limit it that way. It at least takes down an extender, and it sort of makes it so that you can only gain that effect once per duel. Then going on, we do have Mind Control. It was semi-limited, now it's limited. Not totally surprising, probably a decent hit. Then if we go on, we have Zodiac Barrage. That's new on the limited list, never was on there before. Then getting on into the semi-limited list. The semi-limited list is getting smaller and smaller by the ban list, but we do have Destiny Hero Malicious is on there now, which probably a good thing that they took that. You know, they let us have it at 3, and I think a lot of people were surprised. I thought Heroes were just going to explode after they let Stratos and Malicious go to 3. And Heroes have been doing pretty decently, but not explosive enough, but probably still decent that they put it back to 2, because now you don't have to keep link climbing if you want to get out more of your fusions. Now you just can fuse up on the board as much as you want in Master Rule 5, and you don't have any of that holding you back. Then going on, we have Widow Anchor for Sky Strikers going to 2. Probably a good call. Like, Sky Strikers haven't been doing too much of anything, and the Widow Anchor, it's a good card, it's a fun card, and I don't think that it's going to be like really making the deck too broken, so I think that that's fine. Then stuff that came off the list, we have Deep Sea Diva, which is supposed to be getting new support, I believe. And we have Necroface, Spiral Gear Drone, as well as Pot of Avarice. Pot of Avarice really hasn't been doing much since it came to 1. Basically, most people like having those cards in your graveyard rather than back into the deck. So Pot of Avarice really hasn't been doing anything. Even when Avarice went to 1, I thought, like, okay, which of my decks... I have a lot of decks, and I'm like, which of these decks can I even utilize Pot of Avarice in? And I just could not think of an example. So I think Avarice going to 3 isn't going to do much of anything, so I think that that's totally fine. Okay, so now we're just going to go on into a little bit of discussion on some cards that we didn't see on this list. First of all, I want to note that Pot of Extravagance, I think I already mentioned this, but Pot of Extravagance was not on this list. I was sort of expecting maybe it would. But again, this is sort of why I still haven't ordered my playset of Pot of Extravagance. I don't know if I'm going to be going to locals before it gets reprinted or anything. So, again, the card markets are in just such a wonky phase right now that no one knows what you're supposed to be doing. Are you supposed to be ordering cards? Wait till the prices drop. Wait till these cards get reprinted. No one really has the answers. So, Pot of Extravagance, not getting hit. Not really a big deal. It's been around for such a long time, and it does sort of have its negative connotations to it, but still, it's a very good card, so I wouldn't have been surprised if it had gotten hit, which is another reason why I hadn't ordered the card yet. Then I think I got mixed up. I had talked about Super Poly, so I don't think I'm going to talk about Super Poly anymore, but then I will note that Evenly Matched still has not gotten hit. A lot of people have been hoping that it would. Basically, it just totally nukes your opponent's board as long as you have nothing on the field. All they're left with is like their one best card that they want to keep on the field. Evenly Matched is excruciatingly painful against Evil Eye, that I've noticed, because Evil Eye, even if you're trying to keep out your boss monster, Evenly Matched will still take out the rest of your cards. So I had gotten Evenly Matched at regionals a while ago, and the only card that I chose not to get destroyed was my equip spell, because I knew that I can bounce that back from the graveyard. And if I had left my Surzeal on the field, then Surzeal would end up probably just getting destroyed the next turn by battle anyways. So Surzeal and all of my other cards got removed from play, and then I had a full field wipe, and that just really hurt. So I think that a lot of people have had problems with evenly matched. I think that it's a card that a lot of people would like to see it go to 1 or forbidden, but it's still here. It's still in the meta. So I think that a lot of people just need to make sure that you're keeping counter traps in your decks. I've been utilizing a lot more Solemn Judgments lately, and really any other cards that you think are appropriate. Red Reboots, Dark Bribe if you're looking for like a cheap alternative to Solemn Judgment. But Solemn Judgment really just it can negate basically any action that your opponent does. So as long as you can afford Solemn Judgments and keep them in your deck, I highly recommend that you go with those. But besides that, cards like Dark Bribe will get you there to get around cards like Evenly Matched and other problem cards that your opponent's going to be getting on you. But anyways, guys, that's going to pretty much do it for me today on this discussion. Let me know what you guys think. I'm really excited to hear what you guys are excited for the meta. Obviously, we can't be going to locals and stuff right now. Maybe other countries and states are allowed to, but here in Minnesota where I'm at, we're pretty much on full lockdown until this whole Corona thing settles down. And so I am still going to try to crank out as many deck profiles and all that stuff as I can this week. I know that people are sort of sitting around at home with not much to do, so deck profiles, like updated decks. I have a lot of new decks and updated deck profiles to be doing. I also will be doing an unboxing on a collection that I just bought. It just came in today, so I'm going to be probably filming that right after this. So a lot of stuff coming down the pipe just to try to keep you guys entertained while you're sitting around at home in quarantine. So just make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Hit the like if you like this video, and I'll see you guys in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye.